If you guys need any cards, packs, sleeves, anything of that nature, shop on TCG Player using my affiliate link in the description. What's going on, everybody? It is the eve of Deck Devastators 4, and I have here teammate and cat enthusiast Snack Mue to talk about what our predictions are for the upcoming tournament. Hello, Snack.
Hi. Yes, this is me, and also I am the tournament organizer.
Oh, you are? That's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
No. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have on the screen a bunch of cards. We're doing this in Keegan style, where we just like record our DB window with a bunch of cards in it. So in the main deck, we have the things that we think are going to be like good or represented a lot or something. And then here in the side deck, we have things that are going to be like, I don't know, stocks down, I guess, is what we're saying for these. So let's start. A lot of these kind of relate to each other. And the biggest thing that everything relates to is Hero Beat being the #1 most popular deck right now. So what do you think about Hero
absolutely.
Beat?
Yeah, in War League, Edison War League, which is Beast Mode server, this deck has been having like insane success. I know Frazier posted a video recently. It has like a 80% win rate or something. And it's been
That's
mostly
wild.
the Diva Hero Beat version.
Oh, God.
Yeah, with like 2 Gilman. I know you hate that version, but
You know what? They just need to go to 3 Gilman, because actually summoning multiple Gilman just makes them all huge if you think about it.
I was actually no, it does. It's actually a problem. I've had to like deprison a Gilman before. It's really bad on like an empty board. I was like, this is too much life point pressure.
Yeah. I mean, the deck is just.
It's funny. I was actually playing Hero Beat today, and like, I have it all
Did you
set up
win?
so I win the next turn, and then I draw the second Gilman out of my deck, and with Diva in my hand, and I'm like, are you serious?
That's tragic.
So maybe the 3 Gilman is the sauce.
Yeah.
But
Then you don't even
yeah,
have to.
I think Hero Beat's just been killing it. It's really good against Blackwings, and it just kind of has a solid matchup spread for the most part. It doesn't have too many auto lose matchups. It's really resilient to side deck cards. So
Yeah, it kind of has the 2 key things that I talk about, which is beat Blackwings and don't lose to Frogs. And then like it's just really consistent and good and stuff. It doesn't do like crazy unfair things like a lot of other decks do, but you don't really need to do crazy unfair things in Edison format to win, because the format is just very, very balanced within the context of the broader game of Yu-Gi-Oh, which has some very, very questionable periods in history. We'll just say that. So
I think something else is that when everybody's built to play in like a Blackwing meta, Hero Beat seems to take advantage of that, and we'll talk about that later. But like the trap lineups and stuff, I think Hero Beat plays really well into those.
we could talk about that now, because we say Bottomless and Deep Prison are going to be bad. Now, I just like hate these 2 cards historically.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Why don't you, a non-biased person, explain why we have these in the bad category?
Like, I personally love them. I just think trap cards are good, especially ones that banish, because having things banish is good. But Hero Beat definitely trades favorably, especially into Bottomless. Even better than Blackwings does. Like, Blackwings has to set it up with like setting an Icarus, but Blackwings can just kind of go in on turn 2, going second, just start swinging like with reckless abandon, and they end up plussing with Gemini Spark. So
yeah, I mean,
I think
my general take on these cards is they're amazing versus Blackwings, and like they're okay versus some other stuff, and then they're really bad versus Frogs and like certain other decks like Hero Beat. I think they're kind of garbage because of, I mean, they just always get Gem Spark chained to them inevitably somehow. I don't know, or you just hit an Ab Zero and you trade Neg1 with it that way or something. So
yeah, so I think because everybody's got that heavy trap lineup to, especially the Bottomlesses, to stop Whirlwind, Hero Beat's like happy with that.
Yeah, we still have Blackwings up here though. Why do we still have I guess they're just like good and they'll always be good. Is that why we have them in
I don't think the Blackwing Hero Beat is like, like
the matchup's not
70,
terrible
30 or anything, but
there's like
it's pretty tough.
There's hardly any 70-30 matchups in Edison.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like winnable. It's like 60-40 or worst.
The funny thing is,
that might
I
even
think
be a
Blackwing
stretch.
does pretty well against the decks that Hero Beat doesn't do that well against. So.
Yeah, Like some of these or maybe zombies is like a good example of that.
Zombies, quick draw, that kind of stuff.
We don't even have quick draw on here. That's tragic, but we do have zombies on here. I guess we put like these 3 decks on here just because we thought they were good versus like these decks. I think is that was the thinking was.
I think Fairies is good against both Hero Beat and Blackwing, so this could be a really good for Fairy.
Could be a great Fairy meta call.
And then I think Zombies are good against Hero Beat. Machina, I'm not quite as sold on, but I do like them versus Blackwing, a little bit less versus Hero Beat, because I think Gemini Spark on Fortress
Spark
feels
is
really,
good.
really bad.
Then again, having it go to Graveyard isn't actually that bad. Like, the worst thing that can happen to it is Bottomless and Deep Prison, actually.
Yeah, it's just like, you have to
and also
get into a grind.
We should point out this card.
Get into a grind with
Fortress trades really well with Absolute Zero, also.
Yes, that's true.
So it's like
but
not.
Also, the Diva version can make Catastor extremely easily. They're sometimes in main decking Cyber Dragon.
Yeah, that could hurt.
That there's some real, and like you have to be able to ensure that you get into a grind by getting fortresses engraved before you actually start getting like real pluses off of Gear Frame, because at the beginning of the game when you're summoning Gear Frame, you're giving that advantage back away when you summon out the fortress.
But this is also an Avarice deck, and you said Avarice was going to be good. So why do you think Avarice?
Yeah, I think Avarice decks are good against Hero Beat because they can grind really well.
Besides Machina, what's the other? Like just Quick Draw? We should have put Quick Draw up here then. Maybe it is very good. I think Quick Draw is very good versus Hero Beat, but it sucks versus Blackwing. So it's like a kind of
that's the thing. There. It's like it's hard to prepare for both of those decks.
I think it's also good versus Frogs. So maybe you can just afford to suck versus Blackwing. I don't know. It's like a little bit questionable, but yeah, those are the 2 main Avarice decks that I can think of in the format. Unless there's another one. Cat.
No, those are like.
We should talk about Cat. I put Cat on here to make you call it bad. Tell me why Cat's bad. Tell me why it's bad. Explain.
Cat is just underpowered.
Underpowered? Is it because of the ban list? It's because of the ban list, right?
It's inconsistent. It's underpowered. Yeah. Blackwings and Hero Beat are extremely consistent. They're like the 2 most consistent decks in the format. Maybe Frogs, I guess, would be up there.
I think Frogs and Hero Beat are more consistent than Blackwings, at least from my experience. I feel like sometimes you draw dog shit with Blackwings. At least when I play Blackwings, I draw these hands. You wouldn't. It's just like some miscellaneous trap cards and like a Vayu and a Gale or something.
Yeah, or like 2 Blizzard and like
2 Blizzard and Sirocco.
And you're going first, so you just have to
and just like set something and pass.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll finish going over the good category here, maybe. So we have Nobleman. People have been citing this card a lot in response to all the Raikou hamster shenanigans that people were doing previously.
Yeah. I think that's big because people are up to like 2 or 3 hamster at this point.
Yeah.
And if you can hit a Raikou with this, then
all the hamsters
really,
are dead.
Really bad.
It's pretty tragic. And the Charge of the Light Brigade is also dead if they play that. So
yeah,
it can be actually quite funny. How bad
and it's
getting hit with
solid
Nobleman
against
is.
Zombies too.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I expect probably Raikou hamster decks not going to be as prevalent, which is why we have Vayu down here. I think we always hated Vayu though. What do you think about Vayu?
It's so hard. I think the strongest part of Vayu is not the Vayu engine. I think Raikou Hamster Caius are good in general. That's a good engine. And I think insane cards like Dark Arm Dragon,
I was going to say
Royal Oppression.
The strongest part of Vayu is when James Ark pilots it and just has brain dad every time.
Yeah. But it's like when you're forced to do like the Armageddon, Send Plague, and then like pray that the plague goes through the back row, that feels so bad.
Yeah,
I think it has trouble with zombies because like you just have to chew through battle recruiters, and like your main source of removal is these like vanilla monsters running things over.
Yeah, I don't know. Vayu doesn't have a lot of like super one-sided matchups, I think, but it's just kind of worse than a lot of this stuff up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I
At
just
least in
think
my
the best
opinion.
things are like Oppression, Dad, Deck Dev, and then Ryko Hamster Caius.
And we never talked about Cyber Dragon. I think it's up here just because we're talking about people main decking it in these two decks, which I have seen a good bit of. Pure Blackwings has been known to main deck Cyber Dragon, and some Hero Beat builds also main deck it, I think. I haven't seen a whole lot of that, but I think I've seen some builds that do main deck.
Yeah, it'll happen from time to time.
I'm not. Is it even good to main it in Hero Beat? I'm not completely. Maybe it's good with the Honest, I guess.
Yeah.
I think if you play the Divas, you don't really need it though, because you just make Android.
You can be a little bit normal summon reliant without so maybe Sidra lets you flip tempo a bit and get back into the game if you don't want to just.
I mean, this card is also pretty good versus Hero Beat as well, if you think about it. I mean, just
yeah, maybe it helps them in the mirror or something.
Helps push into their stuff too. So yeah, that is that. Dustshoot. You were talking about how Dustshoot might be just kind of bad because of Hero Beat and Blackwing, and those obviously aren't the greatest Dustshoot matchups. But I'm really a big Dustshoot proponent. I think you should just never take it out of your main deck. I think it's just way too crazy and way too good, unfortunately, even though there will be times where it's just worthless or dead or whatever. Obviously it's worst versus Hero Beat because they have all this e-call and Rhoda and stuff, and they set a lot of cards. Versus Blackwings, I feel like it's underrated as hell. I don't even side it out versus Blackwings. I said this on stream with Keegan at Ribbit IRL. I just leave it in there because I don't know. I go second. They always open Whirlwind Shura, and then they have 5 cards in hand still or something. So I don't know. I just feel like the card is too much of a blowout in too many situations to just be taking it out of your main entirely. So that's where I am at on Dustshoot.
I definitely think Dustshoot's pretty crazy.
It would obviously be better in a frog meta or something, but
right.
I just think it's way too good.
I don't think it's wrong or right to be maining it, honestly. I think it depends on what your deck is trying to accomplish. So
okay. And we haven't talked about Compulsory or Ultimate Offering yet. I've been trying out random compulses in decks, and I think the card is actually pretty good.
I like Compulse a lot.
It does a lot of cool stuff. It's really good versus Nobleman, by the way. If you're playing a Ryko Hamster deck, you just yoink the card back to your hand. It's really good. If you're on a Stratos or a Gear Frame or something, and the opponent tries to do something to it, you just bounce it back. You can protect your own stuff. You can just out Ab Zero or Vayu Synchros or Stardust Dragon or whatever with it as well. So I think Compulse is a really good, very versatile, very good card right now.
Really good against, like you said, Vayu. It's insane against Vayu. It's good against zombies because they can't really. Zombies can have a hard time without synchroing.
Yeah, just
I think it's actually underratedly really good against Hero Beat because if they try and Gem Spark a monster of yours, you can compulse it back to your hand and then they just went neg 1.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually very funny. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then, like you said, it also deals with the Diva Synchros and it deals with Ab Zero. So Compulse is really good.
So we have Offering up here, but we put the Gemini deck down here, which is a funny combination. But I think it really does make sense because Offering is the craziest thing about the Gemini deck by far, and also Offering is played in other things too. There's the zombie build that plays it. I think James Arc took it to a beast mode tournament or something and popularized that. So Offering has other applications. You can play it in gadgets too or something, which we also put down here. But I mean, the thing with these decks, even when we put them down here, Offering is the craziest part for sure. The Gemini deck is so much worse when it doesn't draw Ultimate Offering than when it does draw Ultimate Offering. It just feels like 2 different decks almost because of how nuts Ultimate Offering is. So yeah, the card is actually pretty crazy. I think I sort of underrated it before, so I'm going to put it up here. I think something cool will happen with Ultimate Offering at some point somewhere.
One of your favorite cards, Grand Mole, is insane with Offering.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Because you just bounce the guy on their battle phase.
That's so dumb, actually.
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta build a deck with that now. Hold on, give me a second.
Or you can just do your normal normally with Grand Mole to be really good, you need to be already up on tempo. But with Offering, you can just normal summon and then normal summon a Grand Mole right next to it.
All right, I put it on the list. I'm going to build a deck with Ultimate Offering and Grand Mole now. All right, I think we've gone over all these cards up here. Time to talk about what sucks, starting with frogs. I mean,
Yeah.
what can really be said about frogs? People started side decking a bunch of frog hate and learning
There's
how
so
to
much
not.
hate now.
I mean, it's kind of a known as like a noob stomp deck too, where it's just like if people know the matchup, it's a lot easier.
I think people have been forced to learn the matchup more lately.
Yeah, because of all the frog hysteria of 2023.
Yeah, and so now people are like they're on like 5 cards in the side deck for frogs. So
Yeah, I still put frog hate in my side, even though we're past frog format, just because like.
look, I despise frogs, so there's always going to be.
Why do you despise frogs? What did frogs ever do to you? They rise-ed your hamster. I get. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, down here we also put gladiator beasts. Just to remind everyone, this deck sucks. There's no other reason. I mean, actually, there is another reason. It like hard loses to these two decks. Like hard. Like it's bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
your deck folds to Hero Beat and Black Wings, like throw it in the trash right now. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got to agree with that one.
It is just yeah, that's an issue for sure. And less frogs too, and like no quick draw. So I don't even the matchups that are good are like gone. So I don't know. Don't show up with this deck or you'll lose.
You have to pray you get zombies.
Yeah, zombies is your only shot. Maybe Lightsworn, like Christiasworn, you could do it then.
True. Yeah.
Just like hope you run into nothing but that, and you'll be good. All right. We didn't really talk a whole lot about Geminis or gadgets, I guess, other than saying they were here. Gadgets. Keegan's convinced this deck is good against these decks, and I'm really not. It's like only good when you have the Solidarity online, and if both these decks just play like a bunch of spot removal too to hit the Solidarity with, by the way, like Icarus Attack and Gem Spark and just get rid of it. So I don't even know what the game plan is supposed to be outside of just hoping your Solidarity sticks and all your guys are just inherently bigger the entire game. Because if that doesn't work out, I don't see how gadgets are actually good in any way. That's kind of my take on them. Also, they lose to this card pretty bad. Probably worse than like anything, because they're all just everything is a machine in that deck. So, I mean, inherently, because you're on the Solidarity, everything has to be a machine, right. I guess. But yeah, Geminis.
I think it's a little bit too interruptible, and everybody's on like if you're doing so much chainable stuff, like
and
stuff. Yeah,
it feels a little too fragile to me. I played it like once, and I don't know. I just like didn't draw the combo. You know, that was just that's just how it happened. That's how it goes for me when I play this type of deck. Like when you draw the combo, it's nuts for sure, but I just don't think that style of gameplay is particularly good in Edison, because the format's so low consistency, and I mean, you just don't see Ultimate Offering enough. Like, you need to draw Ultimate Offering for this deck to be nuts, really, and you need to draw it with like the right Gemini monsters too. So it's just like difficult, I think, and yeah, it does like just hard fold all these back row decks too, like if they can just like spark your Gemini soldier, then you know, I guess what's the game plan? It's just over at that point. All right, what else we got down here we haven't talked about? You wanted to put stun down. Why is stun even? Okay, tell me what you got to say about stun.
Okay, so I feel like every tournament you have people coming in with these macro decks. And
really? I've never seen them. I swear.
I see the data. Data.
Okay, all right, whatever.
And as you were mentioning before with Glads, if your deck just hard loses to Hero Beat and Black Wings, like throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
These macro decks are terrible against Hero Beat and Black Wings.
This is why we shouldn't complain about Hero Beat and Black Wings, by the way. They gatekeep a lot of degeneracy in this format, for sure.
Actually, 100%.
Like, I would much rather have these two than Stun and Gladiator Beasts in a format. It's so much better than Stun and Gladiator Beast. Oh my god. Okay, Lightsworn. I put Lightsworn down here. I just feel like it's bad versus Hero Beat and Black Wings, in my opinion. I'm talking about mostly Christiasworn, because that's like that build is just better. I'm pretty sure most people agree at this point. There's some like pure Lightsworn copers out there that just like to mill Wolf or something, but Christiasworn is the way to go. That's kind of where I'm at on that. Do you agree with that or not?
No, I completely agree that Christiasworn is superior.
Yeah. I think the issue, like, yeah, these matchups with a ton of back row aren't great for you. You need to just draw really well or something to win them. They have like tons of outs to your Christia, just like tons. So I just don't think this is the right meta call.
With cards like Kalut and Honest, they don't really
I think
need to special to get over the monsters.
If you want to play a Christia deck, you should definitely just play the like fairy deck, because that's gonna be really good versus these two decks for sure. Just like the infinite floaters and stuff, and the recruiters, I think are gonna be great versus Hero Beat and Blackwing. So yeah, that's kind of my take on that. I think it's just the inferior Christia deck right now. So yeah, what else we got? We just got these two cards to discuss. So deck dev. What do you think about deck dev?
You're the one that put.
I put it down here. It sucks versus these two. I don't know what else to say about it.
It does.
It's so bad versus them.
It absolutely does.
And you can't even play it in this one. And it's like not very good in this one.
I think deck dev is one of the reasons why these are the two strongest decks, because everything else just gets absolutely obliterated into the sun by deck dev.
I mean, maybe, but that doesn't make it good in this format. That just makes it format warping or something, you know? Right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it in the bad category is all I'm saying. I think if you're main decking deck dev, that might get you into some trouble. Because
main decking deck dev is just like some psychopathy. I don't know what's going on there.
We've seen it. We've seen it lately. People main decking deck dev.
You've seen some psychopaths is what you've seen. I don't know why they hit this. It hits 0 cards in this deck. It hits nothing in Hero Beat, right? It hits Ocean and Diva.
Diva.
It's Ocean and Diva, okay.
Yeah. And Gilman.
Snowman Eater.
Okay, yeah.
They play that one.
Not all of them even playing that card, but...
Okay, wait, how many? It hits like 6 things or something, you know, like... What on earth are you doing if you're main decking this card in the current meta?
And you don't get the
I don't know.
You don't get the hand knowledge as much because they usually don't have a.
I'm a simple man. I think it's bad against these two decks, and I think it's also bad in these two decks. I don't think it's maybe worth siding in Blackwing, but it's like a lot worse in pure Blackwing.
Maybe worth siding. Like I feel like Blackwing absolutely needs it versus
needs it. What do you need it? You need it for fairies, I guess. I don't think it's that great though. Like, you never trades that well in pure Blackwings. You don't have, like, Sirocco is the only good way to get it online. You don't have, like, all the Vayu stuff. If you have all the Vayu stuff, it's a lot better.
Vayu is the best deck dev deck. That is for sure.
Maybe in hybrid, it's definitely better as well. But I think pure Blackwing is the much better build right now. Definitely seems like the one that everyone is on at the moment. So I don't know. It's just
I'm
like
not
a
sure,
little.
Because I feel like if you're building Blackwing to beat Hero Beat, which is one of your tougher matchups, I feel like hybrid's better actually.
Is hybrid better versus Hero Beat?
I think you want to win by swarming the field faster than they can and putting things that are bigger than 1900 on the field.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that question actually. I'll think about it later.
Because Hero Beat can't. Like, they will have hands with, 4 or 5 normals, and they're just kind of...
I think hybrid's just kind of worse, though, is, like, where I'm at on that.
Yeah, but in hybrid, the cards in your hand are, like, Kalut, Bora, Vayu, things that you can, get out of your hand much easier.
Well, if it's more hybrid, maybe this card will be good in there, but I just think in the overall meta, it's not that great. It's, good versus... It's not even good versus most of these decks up here that we put that are sort of adjacent to this. It's good versus fairies. It's good versus fairy, and that's about it. I don't think it's that great versus zombies. I've never seen a good deck dev resolve versus zombies. I'm going to be real.
I have.
Okay, good for you, but I haven't. All right, we could move on to oppression. It's dog versus Blackwing and Hero Beat, right? Actually, it's it's dog versus them. What am I talking about? It's
I think... Hot take. I think it's surprisingly very good against the new DV Hero Beat decks.
I think it is very slightly okay-ish versus both of these, honestly, because it's all the power plays in Blackwing still lose to oppression, and then your synchro plays in Miracle Fusion lose to oppression. But both decks just have way too many good ways of playing around Oppression for it to actually be good.
I wonder if you're playing fairies, would you bring in Oppression against Hero Beat?
I would not
or
bring it in.
Blackwing.
If it was already in, I might leave it in. If it was like just a one-off in the main, but I don't think I would bring it in from the side.
I think if the nice thing about Oppression is that it does stop Hero Beat from making Catastor, which is like one of their best plays against fairies.
Yeah. Maybe if you're siding out Orange Light in that matchup, you could kind of possibly.
Yeah, true. And you kind of like, I feel like you want to slow.
Maybe you should just play aside some anti-Catastor cards or something. Just like bring in both the Cyber Dragons.
Once again.
Yeah, Compulsory. I don't know.
Crazy.
Divine Wrath. Cut the Orange Lights and play Divine Wrath instead.
Yeah, are we cutting Orange Light to put in Divine
Wrath? It's like the same thing. You just 2 cards to negate a monster effect.
The same thing, but it requires more setup, more commitment into heavy.
Hey,
it doesn't set up your grave.
It's spell speed 3 though. It doesn't lose to Stardust. Gotta consider that. Gotta consider that. Doesn't lose to my body. There's some advantages. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up our discussion of all of these many different topics.
I have a last question for you, actually.
Final question. Okay.
What do you think about like Dust Tornado or Trap Stun? That seems pretty good.
Dust Tornado or Trap Stun. I mean, it depends. With Trap Stun, I feel like there's too many better cards than Trap Stun. Dust Tornado for sure, I think is definitely. It should be in every side deck, pretty much, unless you're playing some weird. In the main, maybe like 1. I don't like main deck Dust Tornado. I guess with less frogs, you could probably get away with it a little more. Potentially.
Having played Hero Beat some, one of the most annoying things is when I have a Gemini Spark and I'm holding it in my hand, like ready to use it at any time that they're trying to get rid of my alias. And then I set the Gemini Spark and they dust it in the end phase, and then I'm like defenseless on my turn.
I mean, if you go into this thinking that there's just not going to be frogs, and you could like maybe just get away with some Dust Tornado main. But if everyone ignores frogs, then someone might just top with frogs, and we don't want that. So
true.
Make sure you have a plan for frogs.
Scenario.
Everyone, just lesson of this video: make sure you have a plan for frogs, but especially make sure you have a plan for Hero Beat and Blackwings, because that's what everyone is actually playing. So you might want to worry about those a little bit more. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Join the tournament on Saturday.
Join the tournament on Saturday.
Discord.
I'll link the thing in the description. All right, see you. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.